what started as an obscure conspiracy theory online.
So I would say I follow Q. Like, let's get to the bottom of the allegations of child trafficking. Pleasure to meet you. So I'm running for Congress.
Has become a way to make sense of challenging times.
This is a very chaotic time. There's a lot of people who are very afraid. QAnon, they offer a sort of organization to the chaos.
Amid growing distrust of mainstream institutions and politics.
This is a Pinocchio Disney storybook. They're trading small boys for gold.
There are gonna be a lot of people who say, who is this nut job and why are you giving him the time of day?
You know what? I totally expect that. I'm just the vessel. You know, I'm feeding you the information.
Don't you understand I'm trying to protect you? Then somebody QAnon help me.
I think it's quite dangerous. QAnon and conspiracy theories, and these are all huge investments. They're psychological, emotional investments. QAnon might not survive 2 years from now, but there'll be something else.
Where will it go next?
They are trying to steal the election from us.
How far are you willing to go to ensure that the QAnon worldview prevails?
I would say to the ends of the earth. We're not going anywhere. In fact, we're just getting started.
He'll handle all the people under protest, and
Yep.
it's all that. That's good enough for me.
That's right.
So you follow QAnon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the farthest I've traveled for a Trump rally. Yes, actually it is. Second furthest was like 3.5 hours. When Trump speaks, he speaks to two different audiences. He speaks to his core-based supporters, and then he also speaks to the Anons, or the people who follow Q.
In the lead up to the 2020 general election, a poll found that half of Trump supporters believe in a conspiracy theory called QAnon.
Wow, come on, let's go. Let's keep it coming, come on. We are all Q. Everyone who supports Trump, whether they like it or not, is a part of the QAnon operation.
Far-right conspiracy theory QAnon has spread like wildfire in recent months, gaining traction on social media platforms across the country.
Since 2017, QAnon has spread claims about a nefarious group, or cabal, of global elites that control the world and manipulate the media. QAnon threads first appear as posts on obscure message boards, signed with the letter Q. Followers believe Q is an undercover group of government agents with top-secret clearance, and followers of Q call themselves Anons.
Who are the Anons?
Honestly, anybody can be an Anon. It doesn't really have an age. There's people who I've seen as young as 13, 14 years old who are, looking into Q thanks to TikTok. And I've seen people as old as 80.
Why?
Why? Because there's a quest and a thirst for truth. People want the truth. They are tired of being manipulated.
John's day job is a solar panel salesman in his native Pennsylvania. But since his girlfriend introduced him to QAnon in 2018, he's more focused on fashioning himself as a spokesperson for the conspiracy theory.
So this is qalerts.app. That's just one of the many sites. Every time Q makes a drop, the information will be presented here.
Okay.
So right here, this is actually one of the Q posts that I was featured in. Yeah, what it says is, do not give up citizen investigation, public awareness, important, bypass of controlled, approved topics, general public steered by MSDNC, like a dog steering sheep, have faith in humanity.
Many Q posts, or drops, are considered by Anons to be written in code. Anons like John seek them out and claim to decipher them, to share them with wider audiences. John's social media accounts were taken down on several occasions for posting about QAnon.
My mission is to have as many new eyes see the information, because I feel that's the most important.
You describe yourself as a digital soldier.
I do.
What does that mean?
A digital soldier, well, it's not like we're fighting a physical war, like a World War I or a World War II. What I'm doing is I'm in the business of red pilling as many people as I possibly can. If you've ever seen The Matrix, you know about the red pill and the blue pill. We actually are living in a matrix. 99% of the information that they tell you is completely false or inaccurate.
The they John refers to is the mainstream media, which a growing number of Americans view with skepticism. In a September 2020 poll, 46% of Americans said the media is very biased. Other polls have shown that Americans also distrust information from the government and academia. QAnon refers to these institutions as the cabal.
So am I unwittingly part of that cabal? I mean, I may be too low down the totem pole, but no one has ever told me what to say or think.
That's the thing. Your boss, is the one who's getting orders from their boss, who is probably getting the orders from, who's ever running the organization. In your case, it would be CBS, and they get orders from this cabal of people.
So you're saying that there are unpatriotic Americans in positions of high power who want to see the destruction of America?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
Is this world that bad? Is it really that f***ed up?
If you want me to be blunt, yes, it is that f***ed up. I posted a lot of different stuff on Twitter, man, but this is just like an excerpt of what I posted. This is a Pinocchio Disney storybook. In that story, now knowing what you know, you find out that they're trading small boys for gold and stuff like that and sending them to Pleasure Island. And this post got over 30,000 likes on Twitter. And this is the kind of trash that they're putting out to their children. Disney is very evil. They support and enable elite child sex traffickers like Jeffrey Epstein.
Hollywood studios and big corporations are a particular target of QAnon. The heart of the conspiracy theory is the baseless belief in a satanic child trafficking operation that has global reach.
Cancel cuties! Cancel Netflix! Save our children!
I'm in the heart of Hollywood at a protest. There are probably about 50 or so people here who have gathered to protest what they say is pedophilia and child trafficking perpetrated by Hollywood celebrities and by politicians. What's really fascinating about this protest and about this movement in general is that I'm seeing a lot of women, seeing some kids, and it's a little bit more diverse than you might expect.
Save our children!
A researcher tracking online extremism found at least 114 Facebook groups that claimed to be anti-trafficking, but were actually dominated by QAnon content. Between July and September 2020, the membership of these groups grew 3,000%. And on Twitter, mentions of hashtag Save the Children appeared more than 800,000 times between June and August 2020. Many of the posts came from QAnon accounts.
Well, first of all, if I were involved with the long-standing organization Save the Children right now, I'd be tearing my hair out because that phrase has been completely hijacked, right? There's a big obsession among the right wing, this idea that people are out there trying to get your children. It's absolutely fascinating that they're so fixated on it. Child abuse is, of course, a real problem. Absolutely, it's a horrible thing when it happens, no question. But for decades, we as a culture have been strangely preoccupied with it beyond the actual cases where it happens, beyond the evidence. So between that and between the general way in which American culture justifies everything in terms of the children, it's all for the children. There's so much emphasis on the children that it's really easy to exploit a panic that people are out there trying to get our children.
What does QAnon's foothold in America reveal about American society today?
A conspiracy theory is implicitly trying to address grievance, suffering, pain that people are feeling, and they feel that it's being neglected by the mainstream. Well, I think anytime you have a popular conspiracy theory, the question you should be asking is, what is going on in our country that makes anything like this appealing? What is wrong?
Police flashbangs and tear gas hurled at protesters near the White House signaled the start.
After the stock market suffered its worst losses since the financial...
1,000 times worse than I could have ever imagined. I think this is a very chaotic time, right? There's a lot of people who are very afraid. It seems like the world is ending at points. QAnon, they offer a sort of organization to the chaos. It's this sort of this conspiracy that has picked up other conspiracies along the way. So anti-vaxxing, anti-mask wearing, a lot of previously disparate movements have sort of been joined into the QAnon cult as well. Particularly over the course of the pandemic, it has gained support. This is a stream of different QAnon-related Facebook pages. So here's content from, I don't know, the recent few weeks.
Okay, so we're looking at about 200,000 likes of QAnon pages back in August of 2019. Come March, it's a spike, and now just 3 months, 4 months after the coronavirus lockdown, we're looking at upwards of 1 million.
Yeah.
According to a poll conducted in October 2020, 11% of social media users say QAnon claims are very accurate, and 25% say they're at least somewhat accurate.
Many supporters of QAnon are really, really good at using social media in ways the average user doesn't. So many supporters engage in what I would probably describe as coordinated, inauthentic campaigns to get their messages across on Twitter, on Facebook, and other social media platforms. So supporters are given specific memes and hashtags to use at specific times in order to communicate a range of conspiracies. The idea is that they're able to manipulate social media traffic so that a user who's coming and just viewing social media at that specific time will be bombarded by QAnon-related content.
Okay, so they've gamed the algorithm?
In a way, they have gamed social media platforms as a whole. It's this almost like movie plot of QAnon supporters are fighting this evil cabal, and they are able to then view themselves as truly engaged in what they think is good activity.
The people in the district feel that there are tremendous powers at work out of our control. And they're turning the world upside down, not for the better. And they're looking to people like me, and I'm hoping that I have the majority of the people in the district going, look, we want you to go to Washington, we want you to figure out what's going on and fix it. Mike Cargile.
How you doing, Mike?
Hey, pleasure to meet you. Yep, so I'm running for Congress.
Mike Cargile is a former director and actor in the Christian film world. Earlier this year, he decided to run for California's 35th district on a conservative, religious platform, which included unproven QAnon beliefs.
The virus is not the issue. We are in the midst of a communist takeover of the United States.
He claimed that COVID-19 lockdowns are part of an alternative, nefarious agenda to deny people their rights.
Most of the district feels that there is something wrong, that it's not just a simple virus. You're shutting down churches, shutting down businesses with no real scientific evidence to do so. Then they can't help but think, yeah, there are much bigger things in play.
Would you say that you're conspiracy-minded at all?
No, I wouldn't. I have a duty, though, to check out everything. And then I see, is there any sort of corroborating evidence for this? You know, and so people call the stuff with child trafficking and all this stuff a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy, it's an allegation.
Mike isn't the only QAnon candidate concerned with child trafficking. 97 congressional hopefuls were linked to QAnon by the left-leaning group Media Matters in early 2020. 27 made it on the general election ballot. All but 2 of these candidates were Republican. According to a recent survey, 38% of Republicans believe that QAnon theories are at least somewhat true.
I stand with President Trump. I stand with Q and the team. Thank you, Anons, and thank you, Patriots, and together we can save our republic.
President Trump is considered a savior in the QAnon worldview. They believe he's fighting the evils of the global cabal undercover.
Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon. What I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that. And
President Trump has so far avoided denouncing QAnon.
How has President Trump impacted the Q movement?
Well, he's given it all of the credibility it needs to stay and do what it's doing, whatever that is, championing human rights, championing those who are targeting child trafficking. He has given it all the credibility it needs simply by not distancing himself from it.
if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually.
I think it's quite dangerous. I mean, if you see what happened with the Tea Party, which started out as this fringe that people could make fun of very easily, it basically took over most of the Republican Party. I mean, QAnon is much further on the fringe than the Tea Party was, or is, but a lot of politicians, and we've seen this in the Republican Party in the past few years, a lot of politicians are opportunists, and they were willing to put up with a lot if it keeps them in power and helps them advance their agenda. What seems to be happening in the past 20 years is no matter what the conspiracy theory is fed by a whole set of pre-existing grievances that come together with this idea that the country is in danger and we have to take action.
Last summer, a QAnon supporter barricaded himself inside an armored vehicle on the Hoover Dam. Investigators say a fellow QAnon believer, who she called a sniper, had come to live with her, and that fellow QAnon members were planning this raid to kidnap the child.
So far, QAnon is linked to 12 alleged crimes, including the 2016 Pizzagate incident, when a gunman opened fire at a DC pizza shop because he falsely believed it was a front for a child sex trafficking ring.
The cops are after me. Don't you understand? I'm trying to protect you.
In June 2020, QAnon follower Alpala Slyman drove off with his 5 children against their will because he believed they were in danger of being abducted.
Donald Trump, I need a miracle or something. Somebody, QAnon, help me. QAnon, help me.
How far are you and other Anons willing to go to ensure that the QAnon worldview prevails?
Well, I would say to the ends of the earth. This isn't just about the United States. We are literally rescuing our world from an evil satanic cabal that wants to bring in a new world order, one world government system.
So that means taking up arms? That means, what does that mean?
Not necessarily. I don't, we would never want to cause harm or be violent towards anybody. We are not like that. We are not a violent movement. We obviously believe in the Second Amendment, but we would only want peace. It's actually a movement of peace.
Okay. But you think that there is a world in which you would have to defend yourself?
I mean, I pray to God that that never happens. But I don't know what the future holds. Only God knows.
As the general election drew closer, John became part of a local QAnon political push.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We get some Q placards. We need to get more of these made. This is New Hope for our nation and the world. It's basically a group that meets a couple times a week now.
Every day.
Every day, wow. So she has like 20, 30 people in here daily learning about everything from the basics of Q to the Constitution to rights, learning how to register people to vote. If you turn the camera that way, you could see all of the binders that they use when they go door to door. So we got all these binders right here. And these all have different people who are already registered Republicans, or just making sure that they're up to date and ready to go on November 3rd when it comes time to vote. Because that's how serious this election is. If we do not win this election, we will lose our republic. It will literally be unrecognizable from how it is today. And if you see the violence in the streets, it's only going to be that much worse. Imagine that times 10 all over the country.
President Trump and Joe Biden are making their closing arguments to voters.
Now want to continue our coverage of this election.
Coverage continues
Tonight,
on
Pennsylvania's Secretary of State says the race there is very close.
We're making America great again.
How was it?
Oh,
How'd it feel?
I'm invigorated, man. I've been waiting months to push that button. I haven't been as this excited in a long time. Feeling in the air is electric. Like I said, we already know Trump's won this, you know. So now it's just, November 3rd was the formality.
Okay, so what do you do from here on out?
What do I do from here on out? We're gonna party. We're gonna ring the dawn back in. It'll be better than New Year's. 2020 has been an outstanding year for the Q movement. We've never had more support as we have, you know, this year. I think it's been at a fever pitch. You know, you see what's going on with the COVID and, you know, being forced to do things that are unconstitutional, like wearing masks, and you know, they're talking about mandatory vaccines in a lot of blue states, and that scares a lot of people.
You know, people are going to watch this piece and listen to our interview.
Sure.
There are going to be a lot of people who say, who is this nut job and why are you giving him the time of day?
You know what? I totally expect that, and I welcome and embrace that, to be honest with you, because I'm just the vessel. You know, I'm feeding you the information. It's up to you to, you know, form an opinion on it. Maybe people might think I'm crazy in the beginning, and that's totally fine with me. I don't care what people think about me, to be honest with you. But I do care that this information gets out.
You know, you're clearly on a path. I guess, like, what's the end game for you in terms of this mission?
You know, I'm not too certain on that yet. I'm not sure where God's going to lead me, what the next step is going to be. Maybe it's to run for office. I've given it thought, maybe in 2022, maybe as like a representative.
So you're not going anywhere?
No, we're not going anywhere. In fact, we're just getting started. And the best is yet to come, my friend. We haven't even started yet.
The new president-elect Joe Biden faces what may be the biggest challenge of his public life, trying to unite a country that is deeply divided.
And that, it's going to depend on the proof they lay out in court. The remedy might be recounting the ballots.
They are trying to steal the election from us, and, you know, it's all going to be exposed. I'm not disappointed at all. In fact, I'm really energized by it, to be honest with you. There's not an ounce of disappointment because this is all part of a plan. You know, Q has told us, you know, back in 2018 that, you know, this was going to be coming down the pike. And we can see right through it. And Joe Biden will never be president of the United States, ever. Take it to the bank.
I don't think QAnon is really the issue. QAnon might not survive 2 years from now, but there'll be something else. Or QAnon will have renamed itself, or have taken on some other form. It's not the particular conspiracy, there'll be something like it. People don't change their minds very easily about anything. QAnon and conspiracy theories and political affiliations, these are all huge investments. They're psychological, emotional investments.
You know, you and I, as we sit here and have a discussion about conspiracy theories, we're part of the problem.
We're part of the problem.
Doesn't this conversation and our analysis of what's happening here, doesn't this just give more fodder to conspiracy theorists?
Absolutely. Everything we say here will be proof to someone who's determined to believe in conspiracy theories that they're absolutely right. So the real question that people keep asking is, how do you talk to someone who has gone down this rabbit hole of alternative facts? The best approach is an empathetic, relationship-based, long-term engagement with the person who has gone down this particular rabbit hole. And it's largely not about what they believe, but talking about the things that they're afraid of.
It will be weeks.
There's that win confirmation.
But we will stand with this President Donald J. Trump.
Hey, thanks for checking out CBSN Originals on YouTube. If you want to watch more documentaries, download the free CBS News app on your phone, tablet, smart TV, or any streaming device. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking down here. Thanks for watching.